Edward R. Dewey, Nikolai Kondratieff, and Luther Jensen biographies. Edward R. Dewey was born in 1895 and was an economist who studied something called cycles in economics and other fields. Dewey first became interested in cycles while chief economic analyst for the Department of Commerce around 1931. Since President Hoover wanted to know the cause of Great Depression, he hired Dewey to research the task. At that time, Dewey reported that each economist gave a notably different answer to this question and lost faith in the current economic methods. Dewey devoted his life to this unique study, claiming almost everything has been found to have unique sets of cycles. He carried out extensive research in the fields of economic, geological, biological, sociological, and physical sciences. In 1941, Dewey started the Foundation for the Study of Cycles, which was set up with a wide range of professionals, which included many distinguished scientists and industrialists. He contributed several new methods for isolating significant time cycles within chosen fields of research. In 1950, he published a magazine called Cycles along with a 4-volume collection of reports, which included his selected writings, called the Cycles Classic Library Collection. Dewey also published a book entitled Cycles, The Mysterious Force That Triggers Events. As a result of his research, he found that seemingly unrelated fields often had similar cyclic periods present. In Volume 4 of the Cycles Classic Library, he outlined and detailed over 1,380 unique cycles of various lengths. Under the guidance of Dewey and the conference leader, Copley Amory, the conference's permanent committee was reorganized into the Foundation for the Study of Cycles in 1941, and its scope was enlarged to encompass all disciplines. The Foundation was set up with a board that included distinguished scientists and industrialists to act as a central clearinghouse of cycle studies from diverse areas. The Foundation made studies of natural and social sciences, as well as business and economics, and new methods were devised for isolating significant cycles present in time series. A magazine called Cycles was published in June 1950. And the Foundation also published a 4-volume collection of reports on cycles, including some of Dewey's selected writings on cycles named Cycles Classic Library Collection. Volume 4 of the Cycles Classic Library Collection contains 1,380 reports of cycle period determinations by scientists, doctors, economists, and cycles researchers. Many common periods include periods such as 9.6 years, found in the 9.6-year cycle of Link's abundance, and 3.39 years, found in the U.S. stock market, which Dewey says are the most commonly found period. Dewey further said that more than 500 different phenomena in 36 different areas of knowledge have been found to fluctuate in rhythmic cycles. Dewey's books: 4-volume Cycles Classic Library Collection, Cycles, The Mysterious Force That Triggers Events. Nikolai Kondratieff. Nikolai Kondratieff was a Russian economist and a proponent of the new economic policy, which promoted small private, free market enterprises in the Soviet Union. He is best known for proposing a theory that Western economies have long-term 50 to 60-year cycles of boom followed by depression. These business cycles are now called Kondratieff waves. Nikolai was born on March 4, 1892 in the province of Kostroma, north of Moscow, was tutored at the University of St. Petersburg before the 1917 Russian Revolution. On October 5, 1917, at the age of 25, he was appointed Deputy Minister of Supply of the last Alexander Kerensky government, which lasted for only a few days. In 1919, he was appointed to a teaching post at the Agricultural Academy of Peter the Great. In October 1920, he founded the Institute of Conjuncture in Moscow. Being its first director, Kondratieff grew the institute into a respected institution with around 51 researchers in 1923. In 1922, he published his first writing on his long cycles, The World Economy and Its Conjunctures During and After the War. His work provided proof that economies were subject to recurrent depressions and recoveries. In 1924, after publishing his first book presenting his theory, he traveled to England, Germany, Canada, and the United States, and visited several universities before returning to Russia. Kondratieff, being an agricultural economist and student of business cycles, visited Minnesota in 1927 and stayed with a number of prominent American scientists who were pro-communist at the time. Kondratieff was arrested immediately after returning to Russia from his trip in July 1930. He was accused of being a member of a peasants' labor party, was convicted, and sentenced to 8 years in prison, which he served in full. In September 1938, during Stalin's Great Purge, Kondratieff was again subjected to a retrial, this time condemned to 10 years, but was executed by a firing squad on that same day. Kondratieff was 46 at the time of his execution. In the mid-1970s, when increased interest in business and economic cycles led to a rediscovery of Kondratieff work, The Long Waves in Economic Life. Famous Austrian economist Joseph Schumpeter credited the long wave theory to Nikolai Kondratieff, coining the term Kondratieff waves. In 1987, the Soviet Union officially exonerated Kondratieff. Luther Jensen Biography. Luther James Jensen, perhaps better known as L.J. Jensen, wrote Astrocycles and Speculative Markets. The book jacket for this book describes it as a major contribution in the field of economic forecasting. This allows you to pinpoint weeks in advance the longitude and latitude where a trend will be centered and how it will affect business, weather, or a natural disaster. In 1931, Jensen opened the Kansas City Bureau of Economic Research, which was speculated to have a very wealthy yet unknown client. Soon after W.D. Ginn died in 1955, the Kansas Bureau of Economic Research closed its doors. Jensen then worked for B.C. Christopher & Co. of New York from 1957 until his retirement in 1971. Luther James Jensen was an American professional astrologer and writer in Kansas City, Missouri, in 1939 that specialized in financial astrology. He wrote a feature, Market Perspective, in AA Magazine as well as Astrocycles and Speculative Markets. He was a member of the American Academy of Astrology and an early member of AFA, joining in May of 1939. Jensen died in Kansas in December 1981, age 81. Astrocycles was originally published in 1935, and to many it is considered an authentic classic, as it included two of the best how-to books on financial astrology ever written combined into one volume. Jensen had done over 50 years of study, research, and actual forecasting for the stock and commodity markets, then putting his knowledge into one book. Being concise and to the point, the astrological methods laid out within this book are still used today by some of the most successful private and institutional traders around the world. Jensen Books, Astrocycles and Speculative Markets. To learn more about Edward R. Dewey, Nikolai Kondratieff, and Luther Jensen and Rob Giordano's Gann Grid Masters 3.0 software, go to www.ganngrids.com. Thank you for listening.